at a young age, able to defeat White Xuankan and become a servant. Truly amazing. I don't know who taught you. Kinyan cupped his fists and replied, it was the senior's mentor who taught the junior how to handle it. At this moment, the chief steward stood up to introduce. I am Duin Kyan, the chief overseer of the Kaiman Pavilion. I am here on behalf of Kiwin Hall to grant you the qualification for junior service. This is the badge of a novice attendant. With this badge, you can enter the Kiwindian at any time, and entrusted Kiwindian to sell talismans. You can also inquire about the latest news you need to pay attention to. Kinyan stared at the badge in astonishment. But I am a student of Hulin Martial Arts Academy, explaining the promotion and demotion of the masters of the Dodge Literary Hall who control the world of literary artisans. There is no need to formally join. You will go to Kiwindian in the future. Old man will guide you a bit. Hearing this, Kinyan replied happily, Thank you, Senior Duin. The junior will definitely go to Kiwindian to seek guidance from Senior Duin. The scene shifts to the classroom dormitory. Only Xianxia was seen inserting the road. This is actually a junior service badge. Now you no longer have to hide and cultivate. Master Wai and Duke Yan would definitely not dare to offend Kiwindian. I happen to be going away to take care of some matters these days. You should go train at Kiwin Hall. Enhance your uniform skills. Listen, Kinyan asked. The Kiwindian actually has such strong power. Even the Empress's power doesn't dare to covet it. At this moment, Xianxia explained. The Kiwindian manages all the masters of unique literature in the world. It is said to have existed for nearly 10,000 years. Moreover, the Kaiman Hall is spread across the 3 major empires and several other nations. Nor do they fear the constraints of imperial authority. It is a very mysterious existence. As long as you can achieve something in the Kiwindian. In the future, I can seek help from the Kiwindian to take revenge on the queen. Listen, Kinyan replied angrily. Don't worry, teacher. I will definitely make a mark in the Kiwindian. How strong is the male lead now? A single punch shattered the spiritual energy. The next day arrived in the blink of an eye. Kinyan was walking down the road, suddenly stopped and shouted alertly, Come out! Stop hiding! As soon as the voice fell, several figures appeared. It appeared before him now. At that moment, Yan Zhongming crossed his arms and coldly snorted. Truly worthy of being Kinyan. How could they discover we were ambushed here? Kinyan took a glance at the road ahead. So it's Yan Zhongming. Are you here to kill me? But with your strength, I'm afraid. Yan Zhongming revealed a mischievous smile at the corner of his mouth and said, Pale. As soon as the voice fell, a golden bell suddenly rang, fell from Kinyan's head. He was suddenly enveloped inside. Yan Zhongming looked at a ray. Pale. With this spiritual energy given by Grandpa, capturing you is as easy as pie. At this moment, Kinyan in Zhongmei sighed. Ah, the path of the dead is truly perilous. One moment of carelessness and you fall into the trap. As the spiritual energy emitted a buzzing sound from time to time. Yan Zhongming looked and said, This item in Zhenhan can not only trap people. With the soul-quelling hammer, anyone trapped can be turned into a pile of mush. Big Baldy swaggered with a hammer in hand. Let me use the soul-settling hammer to deal with him. Go die. With that, he suddenly knocked on it. At that moment, a sound wave attack suddenly came at him. The bald man instantly spat out a mouthful of watermelon juice. With a bang, he was knocked to the ground. Jiang Lang walked over and said, You are truly despicable. They actually used spiritual energy for a sneak attack. Why not take action openly and honestly? Yan Zhongming immediately broke out in a cold sweat and exclaimed in shock, "Jiang Jiangling, why are you here? Why help Qin Yan? Do you know we are the Queen's people? Do you know the consequences of going against us?" Jiang Lang looked on with a sinister smile. The dead do not reveal secrets. Once these words were spoken, another person ran away. "This Jiang Lang is a madman. Let's escape quickly. Do you want to run?" Jiang Lang said as he reached out to unleash a sonic attack. With a bang, that person was taken away. Just as Jiang Lang was about to eliminate Yan Zhongming again, Yan Zhongming walked in the town of souls and said there, "Jiang Lang, we have no grudges or enmity. I don't understand why you want to help Qin Yan. Do you know what the current bounty on Qin Yan is? Exactly 1,000,000 gold coins. There are also the high positions and rich rewards promised by the Queen. By then, the two of us can not only split the bounty, still able to gain the Queen's favor. Isn't it beautiful? The story isn't finished yet." Suddenly, a fist struck his face with a loud smack. With a bang, he was knocked out. Just heard a loud bang. In the town of souls, being shattered by Qin Yan, they disdainfully said, "You think you can trap me with this inferior spirit tool? Your grandfather is really stingy. I'll at least give you a mid-grade spiritual artifact." Jiang Lang looked and laughed heartily. "Truly deserving of the name Qin Yan. It seems I was unnecessary." "It's you." Qin Yan took a look and then asked, "Why are you here?" Jiang Lang explained, "I just received the qualification recommended by the Academy to study at the Hall of Curiosities." "Just passing by," Qin Yan said with a serious expression. "Then why do you want to help me?" "I help you. I just can't stand the sight of them." Jiang Lang said this and activated the sound wave, taking Yan Zhonglin away. Qin Yan exclaimed in shock, "He has lost the ability to resist. Why do we still need to kill him?" At that moment, Jiang Lang responded with sound effects. "If he doesn't die, he will definitely expose me when he returns. If they are all dead now, the Queen will only think that you killed them. There is still more. People like you, the wealthy, bring disaster upon themselves. For example, I would stab you in the back." Qin Yan coldly huffed. "If you want to kill me now, then hurry up and do it. But if you want to go to the Hall of Wonders with me, you must promise me not to kill indiscriminately. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude to you." Upon hearing this, Jiang Lang laughed heartily. If I kill you now, then where will I find a rival with as much potential as you in the future? All right, let's go. I promise you I won't kill indiscriminately in the future, unless the other party strikes first." As the two left, unknowingly a long time had passed. Suddenly, a person swooped down to the place where Qin Yan was ambushed. Zhao Yulin looked at the deceased individuals in awe. They all ended up being killed by the shock. Could it be that Qin Yan is truly practicing demonic arts? The male protagonist forms a team to participate in the Qianlong martial arts competition, but unexpectedly his writing skills were the lowest. Suddenly, Qin Yan asked, "So you can't create strange tales? What are you going to do at the Qiandian?" Jiang Lang explained, "It seems your teacher didn't tell you. Now the Blue Star Palace has descended to the Chantian realm. Only the Hall of Curiosities has the qualification to enter the Star Palace. Genius disciples from all countries gathered at the Hall of Wonders in their respective regions. Among them is the one known as Tankin's top talent, Qin Yingfeng." Qin Yan was astonished and asked, "Is the Crown Prince Qin Yingfeng?" Jiang Lang definitely replied, "That's right. He should be only a few years older than you. Now I am a master of the 5-body 7-layer technique. I can't let such an opponent get away. It is truly exhilarating to be able to kill a genius at the 5-body 7 layers level. Kinyan looked at the river waves in front of him, feeling speechless. The scene shifts as the two arrive at the Hall of Curiosities. At this moment, Kinyan looked on in astonishment. This is the Hall of Wonders. But Jiang Lang looked on and sighed. It's so quiet and desolate. It seems there's still some time before the Qianlong Martial Arts Conference. Qianlong Martial Arts Competition. Kinyan heard this and asked in confusion, "Is there anything else you haven't told me?" At this moment, Jiang Lang explained again. Participation in the Qianlong Martial Arts Competition requires joining in groups. A group needs at least 3 people. Only the top 3 teams are qualified to enter the Blue Palace. Suddenly faced with a dilemma. But speaking of which, there are only 2 of us. What should we do with the remaining spot? Do we have to randomly grab someone to make up the numbers? Forget it. Let's go register first. Kinyan asked as he walked. What scheme do you have this time? Can I not team up with you? As the two entered the Hall of Wonders, Xiao Yulin chased after and said, Kinyan, have you really practiced the demonic arts? I must investigate thoroughly. In the blink of an eye, we arrived at the registration area. The bearded man looked at the 2 of them and asked, You are students of Huelin Martial Arts Academy. Are you here to participate in the Qianlong Martial Arts Competition? Only the 2 of you cannot participate in the Qianlong Martial Arts Conference. The rules of the martial arts tournament require teams of 3 to 5 people to participate. You should hurry and find someone else to sign up with you. You must listen to this. Jiang Lang is in trouble. In contrast, Kinyan happily said, If you can't attend, then forget it. Anyway, I originally came here just to learn about strange tales. At that moment, Xiao Yulin suddenly walked over and said, Are you looking for teammates? I will join you. Kinyan, teaming up with me won't let you down. I promise I can make it to the top 3 in the martial arts tournament. Kinyan asked in confusion, Do you know me? Xiao Yulin explained. The renowned Kinyan is famous throughout the entire Tian Qin. Your feat of defeating Wei Xuankan has even reached the Xianxia Empire. At this moment, Jiang Lang reminded, Let's team up with him. He is a master of the 5-body competition at the 7th level. What? Kinyan exclaimed in surprise. At such a young age, he has already reached the level of a 5-body competition in 7 layers. She turned to Jiang Lang and asked, What level have you reached in your cultivation? Wutai Kaisin. Kinyan immediately showed a look of enlightenment. My cultivation is actually the lowest. I feel really bad. At that moment, Jiang Lang said, All right, we agree to team up with you. However, if your intention in joining the team is not sincere, then I will tear you to pieces. Hearing this, Xiao Yulin replied, It turns out to be the notorious Jiang Lang. You have killed many young masters of the Xianxia Empire. We, the Xianxia Empire, will settle these accounts with you sooner or later. Jiang Lang, however, was completely unconcerned. So I have already gained great fame in the Xianxia Empire? Kinyan beside him added with a look of speechlessness. What he said is infamous. At this moment, Jiang Lang interrupted. All right. Now that the 3 of us are here, we can sign up. He then spoke to Hu Zinan. Now we can sign up, right? Hu Zinan exclaimed in surprise. They found the person so quickly. Hold these 3 brands well. 3 days later, the Qianlong Dance Festival will officially begin. Don't be late. Just as the 3 of them took the signs, only heard Kinyan ask, By the way, I still don't know your name. Xiao Yulan replied, "My name is Meng Feiling, from the Empire of Sky Howl. We will get along very well." He turned and left immediately. "I'll take my leave if there's nothing else. I will come to find you all on the day of the dance party." As he watched Xiao Yulan leave, Qin Yan wondered, "Is he not coming with us? But where do we live?" Jiang Lang pointed with his finger. "You must be a rune master. You use the rune badge. You can get free lodging at the Qin shop, and it includes 3 meals a day. Costume badge," Qin Yan said as he took out the badge, puzzled. "Is this badge really that important? Have you ever seen an old person asking for a complete flat sheet? It actually works." The scene shifts to a luxurious room. Suddenly, Qin Yan exclaimed in shock. "Well, can you really stay here for free?" Jiang Lang chimed in. "That is nature. The privileges of the Qin are not limited to this. You will soon discover the immense benefits that badge brings you." Ting turned to ask Qin Yan, "Where do you live?" Jiang Lang replied softly, "Since I don't have a badge, I can only reluctantly stay with you." This left Qin Yan speechless. "I see you teamed up with me just to mooch food, drinks, and a place to stay." Jiang Lang dug in his ear and replied, "Where is it? Renting a house outside is very expensive. I am still a student. By the way, I have something to do tonight. I will be back later." Qin Yan looked at him, gritting his teeth. "Why do I feel like you're about to do something bad again?" The scene shifts to the Qin Grand Hall. Only one person asked, "Did Qin Yan also participate in the Qianlong dance festival?" At this moment, the fleeting path was hard to return. Yes. With him were Jiang Lang and a masked woman. Prince Qin Feng looked on with a wicked smile. "Qin Yan also wants to get a spot in the Blue Star Palace. Only a single Yang spirit vein dares to indulge in such foolish dreams." At this moment, Wei Yang reminded, "Qin Yan has now cultivated to the 6th level of the 5-body sutra. One must never underestimate it. My son Wei Shuinkan was also severely injured by that brat. Still in a coma. I hope His Highness the Crown Prince will avenge me." Ting comforted Qin Feng with the aura he released. "Don't worry. This time at the dance, I will definitely capture Qin Yan. Extract the last spiritual vein he has left. At that time, the Qin Yan spirit vein will be absorbed. I possess the 7 Yang spirit veins. In the future, I will be unmatched across this continent. You all leave first. I still have a few small things to take care of." The subordinate takes their leave. As the two left, Qin Feng said, "I wonder what the friend above is looking for me for. Please speak now." Only saw the river waves crashing against the beam, so quickly discovered. In the lower river waves, "Have you seen Prince Jankin?" Saying that, he jumped down. At this moment, Qin Feng stood up and said, "It turns out to be Jiang Lang. Is it Qin Yan who sent you to kill me? Does Qin Yan not even have the courage to come find me for revenge? Listen to the river's waves correcting the path. Don't get me wrong. I am not sent by Qin Yan. I just want to verify my own strength. And you. It's just a verification tool." As he spoke, he extended his hand to unleash a sound wave attack. Embarrassed, she shot a glance at Qin Feng. Minor skills of insects. Qin Feng extended his arm to block in front. Suddenly, a dazzling golden light surged. With a shriek from Jiang Langer, with a loud bang, the roof of the great hall was blown open, taken away until the smoke clears. Qin Feng looked at the scene before him and smiled. "Runs really fast. You really have some skills to escape from my full force strike." The scene shifts to the road. Jiang Lang walked while covering his chest, saying, "Truly worthy of being the Prince of Tankin. It seems I need to break through another layer before I can face him again." At this moment, at Qin Yun's residence, Qin Yun was sound asleep. Suddenly Jiang Lang pushed the door open. With a thud he fell to the ground. "The—" Qin Yun suddenly exclaimed. Upon closer inspection, it turned out to be Jiang Lang. Suddenly Qin Yun saw Jiang Lang lying on the bed, fainted. Such a severe injury. Who on earth could beat this guy up like this? Did he go to find Qin Feng? Jiang Lang is so strong yet has been beaten like this. How much has Qin Feng's strength improved? Such a serious injury requires healing medicine. Fortunately, I have many spiritual herbs in the storage ring I obtained in Juling Town. Thinking of it, I quickly took out a box of elixirs from the storage ring. First, let's try this healing potion. Saying this, he poured the elixir down Jiang Lang's throat. It should be fine to do this, right? With a bottle of elixir, the poison gurgled down. Jiang Lang suddenly opened his eyes wide. Crying, I spat it out and gritted my teeth in anger. "Are you trying to shoot me?" At this moment, Qin Yun happily hugged the elixir bottle. "Is this surprisingly effective?" quickly asked. "Qin Feng, why are you the same? How did you get beaten up like this?" Jiang Lang said seriously, "Although both he and I are in the no-body realm, but he already possesses 6 yang spiritual veins. I can't even withstand a single move from him with my current strength." Hearing Qin Yun's puzzled question, "Has Qin Feng already completely fused? Did you receive the spiritual pulse from me?" At that moment, Jiang Lang helplessly smiled. "Mutually absorbed spiritual veins. It can only be conducted between people with blood ties. Your royal family is truly heartless." Qin Yun sighed and replied helplessly, "Ah, my enemies are all my own brothers and sisters." It's truly ironic. At that moment, both of them suddenly exclaimed, "There is a murderous intent. Do not casually enter a girl's room at night. Maybe a chair will fly over." Just as the two sensed the danger, suddenly a red figure burst through the roof. It fell to the ground with a bang. "What kind of person?" Qin Yun immediately said. At this moment, the red-haired prince spoke. "You both are here. This is really great. Old man Huoli Daomingong, I am ordered to take your heads." Qin Yun extended his hand, gathering flames, and asked, "Are you sent by Qin Feng?" Mingjong grinned and replied, "I have come to kill you on the orders of the Crown Prince. It is your honor to die under my flaming blade." Hearing Qin Yun's disdainful remark, "Can you really defeat both of us by yourself?" But Jiang Lang behind him expressed that, "I am a seriously injured soldier and cannot fight. I entrust this person to you." This left Qin Yun speechless. "Die!" Ming Zhang shouted and charged forward, and Qin Yun unleashed the cliff decision to win. Trivial skills. "Don't even think about hurting me." Ming Zhang swiftly brushed aside the gray knife, forcing Qin Yun to retreat. That was close. Qin Yun fell to the ground with a thud. "If the clothes get damaged, it will be troublesome. I only brought a jacket." Before finishing the sentence, I noticed that my clothes had indeed been cut open with a small tear. At that moment Mingjong mocked, "Ah, are you already too scared to move? Let me help you find freedom." Saying this, he raised the knife and struck again, just as the blade was about to touch Qin Yun. Suddenly Mingjong was startled. Qin Yun punched Mingjong away in anger. "You actually ruined my coat." With a bang, Mingjong crashed down to the ground. Looking back, Qin Yun anxiously shouted at himself, "What should I do? It's been a long time since we've met again." At that moment, Jiang Lang reminded, "The Crown Prince already knows our whereabouts." "I can't stay here any longer," Qin asked in confusion. "So where are we staying?" Jiang Lang had a mischievous smile. "Of course I will stay with my companions." The scene shifts to the women's dormitory area of the Qiandian. Zhao Yulan was taking a bath in the room. At this moment she was bathing and thinking, "Is it okay for Qin to be with that creep?" Suddenly, with a loud bang, the door was pushed open by Qin and Jiang Lang. "Sorry to disturb you." But just as Zhao Yulan turned around, Qin greeted with a smile. "Can I stay with you? The story isn't finished yet." Ouch! The two were instantly left bruised and battered. At this moment, Zhao Yulan, dressed and ready, snorted coldly. "Really? Don't just barge into a girl's room. What are you doing here so late?" At this moment, Qin awkwardly smiled and explained. "Our hideout was discovered by Qin Feng. I want to stay with you." Upon hearing this, Zhao Yulan immediately said, "What a joke! Who wants to live with you stinky men?" Jiang Lang explained, "The Qianlong dance festival is about to begin. Living together can prevent our opponents from plotting against us. It will be safer." Listening to Zhao Yulan's response, "All right, you all can stay in the East Wing. Just eating. Find a way yourself. I need to take a break. You all go ahead." Suddenly, two people were seen sitting on the floor of the room. Said with a helpless look, "This is not the East Wing. It's clearly the firewood room. This woman is truly Blue New Palace, arriving in the world once every 10 years. Founder of the new palace, Lan Zhao, the martial king, selecting the talented and intelligent individuals among the various colleges. The path of inheriting martial arts. Genius disciples from various universities gather. Kaiwen Dian has qualified for the election to enter the Blue New Palace." At this moment, the market was completely filled with people. At this moment, I would like to say a few words. Welcome, all talented disciples, to the Kiwen Hall. I am Duan Kaiyan, the chief manager of the Kiwen Hall, Tiankin branch. From now on, I will host the Qianlong Martial Arts Tournament. It is well known that the purpose of this martial arts tournament is to determine the candidates for the Blue New Palace. The martial arts tournament participants will compete in teams. The content of each team's competition will be decided by drawing lots. Only teams that excel in all competition events have a chance to make it to the end. One person exclaimed in surprise upon hearing this. Drawing lots to decide the competition content. Shouldn't the martial arts tournament determine victory and defeat through strength? Dan Qian explained. This time, the Qianlong martial arts competition is not just a test of strength. There will still be uniforms, refining weapons, and refining medicine. There may even be temporary competitions in the production and practice of knowledge. In conclusion, this competition tests the overall strength of each team. One cannot gain entry to the Blue New Palace solely by force. I hope everyone can achieve good results. The Qianlong Martial Arts Conference officially begins now. With the announcement of the match beginning, a beautiful woman walked over and said, "Finally, it's my turn. Hello, everyone. I am the referee machine commentator for this martial arts tournament. Please take care of me. Everyone, look at the energy screen over there. The drawing for this martial arts tournament will be done automatically. No need for each group to draw lots in person. Now let's start the lottery." Suddenly, the beautiful referee announced, "The results are out. The Xianxia Institute faces off against the Aurora Martial Academy. The competition format is martial arts. Both teams please take the field." As the Aurora Martial Arts Academy takes the stage, the onlookers gasped in amazement. It is the newly emerged Aurora Martial Arts Academy in recent years. I heard the captain leading this time is a master of Wuti Liaison. Only one person was sent from Xianxia courtyard. At that moment, the captain of the Aurora Martial Arts Academy gritted his teeth in anger. Damn it! Is it just you from the Xianxia Academy that will face the challenge? They really look down on us. The figure in the black robe scoffed. Just a bunch of useless people. Listen to this, the captain exclaimed angrily. Bastard! Let's take him down together. Suddenly, King Yun and the three of them were walking on the road. Only Xiao Yulan spoke. I really admire you all. How can you be sleeping in on such an important match? Do I have to go back to find you all? Who will take responsibility for delaying the match? King Yun, exhausted, could barely open her eyes as she spoke. It's you who arranged for us to sleep on the cold, hard floor of the firewood room. I didn't fall asleep until morning. You must listen to this. Xiao Yulan turned and questioned. So it's my fault for being late. I never said that. King Yun immediately broke out in a cold sweat. At this moment, Jiang Lang sighed. What if we get drawn in the first round? If you miss it, you'll be eliminated directly. King Yun, after listening, was indifferent. It's okay to have missed it. My original purpose was to come and learn about strange tales. You must listen to these words. Suddenly, Xiao Yulan grabbed King Yun and said solemnly, King Yun, your father and your wife are waiting for you to rescue them. Your grand tutor is waiting for you to clear his name. So you must go to the Blue Star Palace. You must become stronger. This suddenly made King Yun's face turn serious. Wife? Where did I get a wife from? Beside him, Jiang Lang chuckled softly. Don't you know this guy got dumped by his fiancée? As Xiao Yulan turned to leave, she said, Your fiancée may have her reasons. In the blink of an eye, the three arrived at the competition venue. King Yun looked at him in surprise. Has the match already ended? Looking again at the arena. At this moment, the captain gritted his teeth in anger. Damn it, I give up. Please spare my life. At that moment, the man in the black robe extended his finger and unleashed a sonic attack. The weak do not deserve to live. With a bang, it struck the captain and took him away. At this moment, King Yun looked on in shock and exclaimed, It turns out to be the same technique used by Jiang Lang. At this moment, Jiang Lang explained, The reason is simple. Because he is my brother Jiang Fen. My brother was already in the late stage of the five-body mirror's seventh layer a few years ago. These days it has probably already surpassed. He has now joined the Sanxuan Institute. It seems that our path to victory has encountered another obstacle. Xiao Yulan added after listening. Sanxuan Courtyard is the first academy in tanking. Now only one person has appeared for the competition. The hidden individuals seem even more unfathomable. After listening to the two, King Yun thought to herself, It seems that securing a top position in the Qianlong dance competition is really not easy. As the referee announced the start of the second match, the second group of contestants' names appeared on the big screen. The competition method is snacks. At this moment, the referee waved their hand. Now, please welcome the contestants from Hewlin Dance Academy and Kingling College. One way to compete. Xiao Yulan immediately felt awkward and thought to herself, Why do boys nowadays all know how to cook? I can't even make tao mai. In the blink of an eye, the competition arena was ready. At this moment, the referee urged, The stove is ready. Please both parties take the stage quickly. Both sides can send out one player or the entire team. Make a snack using specified ingredients. The results will be judged by the judging panel as both teams take the field. The man in red from Kingling Academy mocked. Ah, they don't seem like the type who can cook. We are definitely going to win this time. Eto, I can earn the title of Skyclear Master Chef. You are truly unfortunate to have encountered me. At this moment Qingyan arranged. Cooking is left to Jiang Lang. I'll handle the chopping. I am still very confident in my swordsmanship. At this moment, Xiao Yulan reminded, Qingyan, this match is not as simple as cooking. Something unexpected will definitely happen when it officially starts. You need to bring out all your strength. All strength. Qingyan thought to herself, what kind of competition is this? Zhang Yang, who couldn't be split by even a kitchen knife. The male Li actually plans to split it with his hand. As both sides prepared, I only heard the referee say, now, please prepare the necessary ingredients for the dish. The ingredients the two teams need to prepare are the armored beetles of Xianxia. As is well known, the suspended armor bug is a third-tier spirit beast with a hard shell. To cook it not only requires exquisite culinary skills, you also need to possess strong martial skills to break through the shell. Upon hearing this, the man in red was immediately startled. What? It turns out to be a stag beetle hero. This is a problem. At this moment, Jiang Lang was deep in thought. Shu and Jaya Chanyam. That is the hardest existence among spiritual beasts. Indeed, this competition is not simple. At that moment, the man in red shouted loudly, bring me the insect warrior. Yes, boss. Dudu replied with a sound of agreement. A ribbon was thrown out and quickly wrapped around Chan Yang. He suddenly pulled it over and shouted, boss, act quickly. Look at mine. The man in red said this and flew away in a flash. A loud bang hit Changyang's shell. The kitchen knife instantly shattered into pieces. The man in red grimaced in pain as he looked at his own hand. My hand, it really hurts. The bald man looked on in astonishment. The boss's profound knife skills didn't even leave a scratch. Soon it was Qingyan and the others' turn. Qingyan held a kitchen knife and shouted, like it, babies. With a crack, it struck Insect Brave. Suddenly, the kitchen knife cracked open. At that moment, Qingyan was momentarily taken aback. Indeed, cannot cut. At that moment, the man in red looked at them with pride. Hehe, they can't cut it either. Then it can be averaged out. Then we can compete in other ways. At this moment, the referee added, if both sides cannot sever the bond of the armored beetle's courage, both sides will be completely eliminated. Bai Ting heard this and immediately felt helpless. I didn't expect we would be eliminated in the first round. As Qingyan looked at Changyang, he thought to himself, now I can only use the shock martial soul, but if discovered, then I can only quietly hide the shock martial soul within my fire martial soul, combined with the Xu and Yang technique. Just give it your all in one strike. Thinking of this, he reached out and activated his technique, striking down at Changyang. With a swift strike, the bub warrior was split in two. Watching Qingyan's actions, Xiao Yulan was shocked and thought, Qingyan could actually split the shell of the fake insect warrior. How did he manage to have only one spiritual vein? Jiang Lang also wore an expression of disbelief. This kid is actually so strong. I really underestimated him compared to before. As Qingyan raised his hand, the knife fell, instantly chopped the ingredients, handed it over and said, Jiang Lang, I'll leave it to you from here. Leave it to me. Jiang Lang agreed and began to showcase his cooking skills. In a short while, The delicious food was ready. At that moment, the referee quickly announced, "Hewlin Martial Arts Academy has finally completed the competition dishes. The match is over." After hearing it, even the chin of the red-clothed person in Nanjing couldn't close. Suddenly, the referee announced, "The dish just now received unanimous approval from the judges. The winner of this round is Hewlin Martial Arts Academy." At this moment, Zhao Yulan reminded, "Qinyan, our victory this time will surely attract the Crown Prince's attention. Be careful of the Crown Prince's tricks in the next round of the competition." Listening to Da Qinyan, pondering in thought, "Will Qin Feng cheat during the competition? Let it be. When soldiers come, block them. When water comes, cover your eyes." The scene shifts, and Duan Kainjin asks, "But you asked me to change the draw order so that Hewlin Martial Arts Academy faces Xianxia Academy." Qin Jinfeng affirmed, "That's right. This little task should be a piece of cake for you." Ting Datuan snorted coldly before speaking. "Who do you think I am? You dare to interfere with the dance event held at my Kiwen Hall." Qin Jinfeng listened and threatened with a serious expression. "Aren't you afraid of offending our entire Chankin Empire?" Duan Kayan sneered dismissively. "Ah, I don't take the insignificant Tankin Empire seriously at all. Do you not take this person seriously either?" Suddenly Duan Kayan looked and exclaimed, "It's actually you. I can't believe you would team up with the Tankin Empire to interfere with the rules of my Kainlong dance festival." At that moment, the man in black said, "You are wrong. I have no interest in the Kainlong dance festival. But I really like your 7 literary hall. You must listen to this. Clench your fists and release the energy of the technique. So you teamed up to target me, the master of the 7 texts hall. It's simply wishful thinking." The man in the black robe glared angrily. "Dare to lay a hand on me? This is truly seeking death." Just as the attack was coming from the front, the figure in the black robe shot a glance. Then, with a loud bang, it exploded. At this moment, Qin Jinfeng asked with concern, "If such a big commotion attracts others, it won't be good." The cloaked figure comforted, "Don't worry. The 7 literary halls of the Tiankin Empire have been taken under my control. With the removal of this chief steward, there is no one left to pose a threat. One day, the entire continent's 7 literary halls will accept our blue new mansion." The scene shifts to a high-end residential area. Jiang Feng angrily shouted, "Rascal!" Unexpectedly changed the rules in secret and directly faced off against Hewlin Dance Academy. This is clearly an attempt to use us to eliminate Qinyan. The queen unleashed the power of the clouds behind her. What does she think we are? We are not her pawns." A man comforted, "Jiang Fen, don't get excited. This time, the one changing the rules is not just the queen. There are people behind us that we cannot provoke." Jiang Feng asked in confusion, "Do you not even care about the dancer's honor?" A woman stood up and said, "Let's not worry about any honors for now. I just didn't expect that your brother and my sister are both in Qinyan's team. Did sister think that with a mask on no one would recognize her? It's really laughable. I really want to know why your stupid brother teamed up with my silly sister and that useless He Yang from Qinyan." At the same time, Zhao Yulan and Jiang Lang sneezed and said, "It seems like someone is talking about us." The next day arrived in the blink of an eye. At that moment, the referee announced, "Today our first match draw begins." As the big screen draws lots, the result reveals the battle between Xianxia Institute and Hewlin 5 institutes. At that moment, everyone present was excited. It's the Xianxia courtyard again. I didn't expect to see the Sanchuan courtyard killing someone so soon again. In the blink of an eye, both sides were ready. Zhao Yulan looked across in surprise. Yume. At this moment, Zhao Yume greeted them. It's been a long time since we last met. Qin looked at a household and asked, "It seems that girl over there is talking to you. Do you know her?" Zhao Yulan looked nervous and hurriedly denied it. "No, I don't know." Jiang Lang looked on with anticipation. "I can't believe I'm going to face my brother so soon. Thinking about being able to be brothers is truly exciting." Jiang Feng angrily shouted, "You must listen to this. Jiang Lang, you disgrace of the family." At that moment, the referee announced, "Now the captains from both sides are discussing the rules of the competition." As the two team captains stepped onto the stage, Jiang Feng looked at him and praised. "You are Qin. I have heard about your deeds. Truly, heroes emerge from the youth." Qin politely replied, Where? Let you decide the rules for our competition." Jiang Feng pointed with his finger. "Refreshing. Then we will take turns going on stage to compete. Best of three. How are you?" Qin asked in confusion. "Taking turns to compete. How is the performance order determined?" At this moment, Jiang Feng introduced. "First, the women from both sides will battle each other. In the second round, I will face your Jiang Lang. In the end, someone on our team is very interested in you. It is he who is battling you." Hearing this, Qin readily agreed. "Okay, let's follow your rules." As the two returned to their respective places, only hear Jiang Lang asking, "Are we done talking? How will we compete?" Here, Qin introduced. "Personal competition. Best of three. You and your brother have a competition. The girl on the opposite side of the Flying Spirit team. Leave the one with Viduli to me." At that moment, the referee said, "It seems both parties have finished their discussions. The competition begins now. The first to compete in the Xianxia Academy is Zhao Yume." With the appearance of Zhao Yulan, Zhao Yume said, "Sister, I didn't expect we would face each other so soon. I remember the last time we faced each other was 4 years ago." Zhao Yulan replied lie. "Nay, later we will touch on the mechanism. I don't want to hurt you. Doesn't want to hurt me." Zhao Yume immediately replied seriously, "Sister, I am no longer the weak person I used to be. Once upon a time I was always inferior to you. Now I will defeat you once again. I want to prove to my father that I have far surpassed you." As he spoke, he released his aura. At this moment, the audience below looked on in astonishment. It turns out to be the purple gold marshal's soul. It's truly a rare sight." At this moment, Zhao Yulan looked on in astonishment. "Dumne, you have actually reached the 7th layer of the 5-body realm. Sister, try my move." Zhao Yume spoke and then drew the Ziluo Yanlight bow. With a sudden attack, it struck Zhao Yulan. At that moment, Zhao Yulan was knocked back. The mask was also blown off. At this moment, Zhao Yume looked on with pride. "Sister, now hiding your identity no longer has any meaning." He stepped forward and said, "How are you, sister? Just give up." Zhao Yulan reminded, "Yume, next time I won't hold back." Upon hearing this, Zhao Yume smiled proudly. Sister, you are truly oblivious. Can't you see that I've far surpassed you? Can you dodge this move?" As she spoke, she unleashed the Ziluo Yan light bow. The male lead urgently intervenes to disrupt the chaos in the river. But unexpectedly, he was thrown into the Leifeng Tower by the man in the black robe. Accompanied by Xiao Yuemei's strike, she attacked. Xiao Yulan slightly tilted her head to avoid it. It rushed past Xiao Yuemei in a flash. With a loud bang, the necklace around Xiao Yuemei's neck shattered. At this moment, Xiao Yulan turned and said, "Younger sister, you have already lost. You have too many flaws. It's impossible, right? I can't possibly lose to you." Xiao Yuemei found it hard to accept reality and was preparing to attack. Suddenly, Xiao Yulan appeared in front of her. In her terrified eyes, a punch struck her abdomen. With a thud, he fell to the ground, looking at the upcoming Xiao Yulan. At this moment, Qin Yan asked in confusion, "Yulan, why are you wearing a mask? Do you have any unspeakable struggles?" Xiao Yulan replied helplessly, "I will tell you the specific reason later. Now focus on the competition." Undivided attention. With the first victory of Hualin Fifth Hospital. In the distance, Qin Feng watched the battle, gritting his teeth in anger. "You are really useless. I can't believe we lost the first match so easily." At that moment, the figure in the black robe comforted. "Don't worry. When it truly comes to a last resort, I will take action." In the second match, Jiang Feng from Sanchuan Hospital faces Jiang Lang from Hualinwu Hospital. As the two enter the stage, at that moment, Jiang Feng said, "Jiang Lang, finally, it's our turn." Jiang Lang laughed heartily. "Brother, do you really want to kill me?" Jiang Feng swiftly drew out a long knife and said, "You betrayed the family by secretly joining Hualin 5 hospitals. They also killed several clan elders who came to stop you. Simply unforgivable. Go to hell." With that, a swift slash aimed at Jiang Lang. Jiang Lang extended his finger to unleash a sound wave attack. With a snap, Jiang Feng's sword shattered into pieces. Yet Jiang Lang's attacks did not diminish. With a loud bang, the attack hit Jiang Feng. At this moment, Jiang Feng furrowed his brow and gritted his teeth. "Stinky kid. Quite impressive, isn't it?" At that moment, Jiang Lang struck out. "Brother, your abilities go beyond this. If you don't show your true strength, you're going to fall at my hands. Do not regret it." Jiang Feng spoke, and suddenly his muscles surged violently. With a sudden roar, the momentum around him surged rapidly. Jiang Feng reached out and unleashed a wave of sound from his sword, slicing towards Jiang Lang. At that moment, Jiang Lang was taken aback. The sound wave aura is really strong. Finished. Cannot escape. Qin Yan looked astonished. "It's dangerous. He can't handle this move." With that, they suddenly moved forward, accompanied by a rumbling sound. Jiang Feng exclaimed in surprise. What happened? As Qin Yan released the shockwave martial soul to block this attack, he said, "Sorry, I can't let you kill him." Jiang Lang felt weak and worried at this moment. "Qin Yan, why did you take action? Do you know what kind of punishment one would face for disrupting the order of the competition?" Qin Yan replied solemnly, "As long as you are still my companion now, then I can't remain indifferent to your life or death." As the attack disappeared without a trace, Jiang Feng exclaimed in shock, "I never expected you to have dual martial souls. It is still a rare black martial soul in the world." Upon hearing this, Qin Yan was taken aback and thought to himself, "Oh no." The shockwave spirit revealed itself in a moment of urgency. Suddenly, a yellow energy bound Qin Yan. It was the figure in the black robe who accused at that moment, daring to disrupt the order of the martial arts tournament venue. "You really have a lot of nerve. And you actually used magic at the venue. Truly unforgivable. Disrupting the martial arts tournament order." The cloaked figure replied disdainfully, Kai Wendian supervisor Duan Kaian Wang Huzhai's hand, already executed by the old man. But Qin Yan was suddenly taken aback. The money manager was unexpectedly twisted. Who are you really? Who has the authority to execute Chief Financial Officer Duan Kaian? Listen, the figure in the black robe replied lightly. The elder of the Blue Star Palace, Kungsing. Do you think we have the right? Upon hearing that the other party was the elder of the Blue Star Palace, everyone present was taken aback. I never expected the elder of the Blue Star Palace would take action personally. Qin Yan is doomed. This is what Kungsing said. Qin Yan, your sins are unforgivable. Old man will throw you into the Xianxia Tower to be destroyed for 10 years. Accompanied by a rumbling sound, suddenly the sky tower fell from the sky. At this moment, Kungsing spoke again. The rules of the sky tower are led by Elder Lan Xiao. If only I could get out from inside. Only then can one regain freedom. With a swipe, Qin Yan was sent into the sky tower. At that moment, Kungsing explained, from now on, if anyone disrupts the martial arts order, Qin Yan is indeed a role model. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yulan suddenly fell to the ground and cried. Why is this happening? At that moment, Jiang Wan walked over to comfort her. Don't worry. I believe that Qin Yan will definitely find a way to get out on his own. The male protagonist encounters this uncle in the tower. I can't believe I've been locked in this tower for 300 years. The scene shifts. At this moment, Qin Yan, who was thrown into the tower, sat up and muttered to himself. This is simply unreasonable. Am I already in the tower? Then, gritting his teeth in anger, he thought to himself, those bastards from the Blue Star Palace. Duan Kaian Sr., I will definitely avenge you. In the blink of an eye, inside the Hall of Wonders. Qin Jingfeng laughed heartily. It brings great joy to the people. That bastard Qin Yan really deserves it. There is no spiritual energy inside the Sky Tower. No food. His 10 years have long been starved to death. But why didn't we just take him out right there at the venue? Why go through so much trouble? The man in the black robe explained. After all, with so many people at the venue, we need to be mindful of the impact. Cannot kill directly. Entering the Sky Tower is no different from sentencing him to death. After listening, Qin Jinfeng worriedly said, I'm just afraid that Qin Yan is cunning. What if he has a lot of food hidden on him? Will they really let him out after 10 years? The cloaked figure comforted. Don't worry. Who's that guy in the Sky Tower? Qin Yan is afraid he won't live even 10 days. At this moment, Qin Yan walked while speaking. All that's left are bones. Is there not a single living person here? If I had known earlier. Put more food and water in the storage ring. If this continues, we will eventually die of thirst and hunger. Suddenly, a wailing sound came from a hole. At this moment, Qin Yan thought to himself, the sound is coming from over there. Is there someone? Go take a look. Saying that, he ran over there. Suddenly startled, a shadowy figure appeared before me. At this moment, Qin Yan stepped forward to greet. Young lady, are you okay? At the moment, the beautiful woman turned her head. Qin Yan was so scared that he rolled his eyes. At this moment, the monster lunged at him with its claws bared. Suddenly, a fist struck the monster's head. He was knocked flying out. With a thud, it crashed against the wall behind, meeting its end. Qin Yan looked at the bearded man who had made a move and asked, You are? At this moment, the bearded man reminded, Qin, it is very dangerous to wander alone in this tower. Qin Yan expressed gratitude. Thank you for your timely rescue. My name is Qin Yan. Just got locked up. At this moment, The bearded man had already arrived beside the monster. He pulled off 2 tentacles and said, "I was just passing by. Don't take it to heart." Kinyan looked at him fiercely and asked, "What are you doing?" "Preparing dinner now." Kinyan was suddenly startled. "Can this thing be eaten?" In the blink of an eye, the tentacles were being grilled. At that moment, the bearded man said while eating, "It seems to be a bit overcooked." Kinyan looked at him and asked, "Do you really survive by eating the flesh of such monsters?" The bearded man explained, "The only thing you can eat here is this. You'll get used to it after eating it for a while. Actually, the taste is quite good. How long have you been locked up here, uncle?" It must have been at least 300 years. Upon hearing this, Kinyan was immediately taken aback. "What? 300 years? To live for 300 years, one must at least have the cultivation level of the 5 mirrors. How can you still be locked up here?" The bearded man chuckled darkly. "Because my cultivation has been destroyed." This left Kinyan speechless. "How can such a tragic thing be talked about so happily?" He said sadly, "With my current cultivation, I can't escape at all. Do I really have to die here?" At this moment, the bearded man reminded, "Kid, if you want to escape, you first need to fill your stomach. If you starve to death, you lose everything." After listening, Kinyan pondered. "That's right. I need to survive first. Think of a way to escape." He opened his mouth wide and started eating. In the blink of an eye, Kinyan asked again, "By the way, uncle, you must have a grudge against the Asher Star Palace for being locked in the Sky Tower. Then you must be very familiar with the Blue Star Palace." The bearded man replied while eating, "That is nature. I have a thorough understanding of the Blue Star Palace." Kinyan was delighted and asked, "That uncle, I would like to inquire about someone. Do you know about Lan Zio Wu Wang?" "Lan Zio Wu Wang?" The bearded man was suddenly startled. Suddenly, with a snap, they grabbed Kinyan by the neck and asked, "Say, who sent you here? What is the true purpose of Wang Luingxiao?" Kinyan explained with a face full of cold sweat, "I am just accepting the commission from Senior Lin Binglian. Hand over an item to Wan Lingxiao." Lin Binglian. The bearded man was taken aback. Then he let go. At this moment, Kinyan gasped and asked, "Do you know Senior Lin Binglian?" The bearded man sighed in response. "A long time ago, an old friend. Is Bang Lion doing well now? What is it like to call an ancient old fellow who has lived for 1,000 years your brother?" I listened to the doubts of the bearded man. Kinyan replied, "Senior Lin Binglian has been deceased for nearly 1,000 years." Hearing the bearded man sigh, also, unknowingly, 1,000 years have already passed. Recalling the past is real. Kinyan looked at the bearded man in confusion and asked, "Uncle, what's wrong with you?" The bearded man turned his head and smiled. "It's nothing. Hearing news of an old friend is a bit sorrowful. Kid, if I told you I am the Blue Sky Martial King, what would you think?" Hearing Kinyan's awkward smile, "How is this possible? How could the Blue Sky Martial King be imprisoned in the Sky Tower set up in the Blue Star Palace?" At this moment, the bearded man self-deprecatingly remarked, "He, that's right. Who would believe that an old man is the renowned Blue Sky ancestor?" "You must listen to this," Kinyan asked in confusion. "You are truly the Blue Sky Martial King. How did you end up locked in here?" Lan Zio, the Martial King, recalled, 300 years ago, I failed to break through the final level of the Zinang True Scripture. Severely injured. Only 1/10 of my strength remains. When I emerged from my retreat, I was ambushed by a traitor. All meridians in the body are destroyed. The traitor wanted the new Sun True scripture, so he didn't kill me, just imprisoned me in the Sky Tower. It's been 300 years, although my injuries have healed, but all my strength is gone. Now only the 5 mirrors can show their true power. It is no longer as good as before. Unable to break out of the Sky Tower that day, Qin drew out the sword and said, "Uncle, this is for you." Lan Zio Wuing picked it up and exclaimed in surprise, "It turns out to be the transmission sword. You're so straightforward with me. Aren't you afraid I'm a fake?" At that moment, Qin replied with an awkward smile, "Anyway, I'm stuck here and can't get out. Even if I'm a counterfeit, I accept it." Lan Zio, the martial king, listened and chuckled. "What a naive little guy. Let me see what's inside." As the spiritual energy infused, suddenly the transmission sword revealed various secret techniques. At this moment, Wang Langxia looked astonished. "These matters. I didn't expect Bing Lion to have recorded all the techniques I shared with her." He suddenly shouted at Qin, "Hello, Qin, this is a gift for you. I find you quite pleasing to the eye. All the martial arts techniques here were created by me. It will be a great help to you." Qin was taken aback and asked, "This is the only relic left to you by Senior Lin Binglian?" Lan Zio Wuing replied helplessly, "The past is in the past. Keeping it will only add to my sadness." At that moment, Qin excitedly asked, "Senior Lan Zio, have you ever thought about cultivating and recovering here? We can break out of the Tower of Heaven from this day." Lan Zio, the martial king, replied, "On this day, there was not a trace of spiritual energy in the tower. Practicing is almost impossible, unless using a sufficiently energized magic array, or high-level spiritual medicine infused with spiritual energy." Hearing this, Qin asked in surprise, "Using elixirs can also restore one's cultivation level?" Lan Zio Wuing affirmed, "Of course. But where would there be elixirs in this tower? I can only rely on the remaining spiritual energy within me, struggling to survive. Wait for the day when my spiritual energy is exhausted. It's when I'm painting." Listening to the words of Wang Lingxiao, Qin quickly took out the ring. A box of elixirs was released, bringing joy. "Senior Lan Zio, I don't know if these spiritual medicines will help you recover your cultivation. Is there any help?" Lan Zio Wuing was taken aback, his eyes wide in shock. "Couldn't help but curse. Well, so many spiritual medicines. These are all top-grade spiritual herbs. With your cultivation level, how could you possess so many spiritual herbs?" Qin explained, "These are the rewards for the letters sent to me by Senior Lin Binglian." Listen, Lin Zio, the martial king, laughed heartily. "Ah, you actually gave away the reward someone else gave you so generously. You really resemble me a lot. You are called Qin, right? The old man decides to take you as his apprentice. I will pass on the new Sun Sufferer to you." Hearing this, Qin felt conflicted. "Pan, I already have a master." Lan Zio Wuing comforted him. "You don't have to worry at all. From now on, we shall address each other as brothers after I pass on the techniques to you. Prepare to accept the legacy. Qin, my brother." As he spoke, he reached out and tapped Qin's forehead. At this moment, Qin felt astonished. "This is Tin," as the surrounding energy rushed into Qin's body. In the blink of an eye, Qin, who had just received the inheritance, looked at his path. "It seems that there is an extra force of starlight within me." At this moment, Wang Liao Wu explained, I infused a trace of stellar energy into your primordial spirit. This helps you understand the rules of the stars. You can better appreciate the power of the new sun scripture. I will use these spiritual herbs to enter seclusion and restore my cultivation. You must diligently practice this new yang genjing." Qin Yun happily thanked after listening. "Thank you, Senior Lan Zio." "No, it's Brother Lan Zio." How powerful is the male protagonist's elder brother who has lived for 1,000 years? Surprisingly, one can freely control the age of their body. As the scene shifts, a voice is heard in the dark prison saying, "Qin Yun has already been locked in the Sky Tower. Basically, it's no different from being dead. It would be better if you died early." Once again, the atmosphere around Zio Yulan felt different. "Even without Qin Yun, I still wouldn't marry you. The one who should give up is you." After listening, Qin Dingfeng said, "Qin Yun is no longer the crown prince. Don't forget your identity as the Xianxia princess. Only you and I are a match made in heaven." Zio Yulan responded with a tense atmosphere. "Qin Yun will definitely escape from the Sky Tower, reclaim his rightful position as the crown prince." Qin Jinfeng mocked. "Stop dreaming. The power of the Tianqin Empire is firmly in my mother's hands. No one can take my position as the prince. There is still more. I, Qin Yingfeng, will get what I desire.